Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Business Power Hour. My name is Norman, also called the Music Man, and my partner over here, his name is Darren, and they call him Double D.
Double D. Hey, Mr.
Darren
Music
Dimples.
Man, how are you this week?
Okay, I think
right.
I'm okay.
So-
It's been a while. Lousy weather. We have problems.
Weather. I mean, today the weather was great.
Today was
but,
stunning.
3 days ago, over the weekend, it was snowing. So it's crazy.
And then we have trouble with the broadcast because of the weather.
Yep. Yeah, so all kinds of crazy stuff. We'll get through it all, though. Spring is coming. It's almost here. Daylight savings time, how did you survive that?
I'm loving it. By the way, there is no more daylight savings time as of 2023.
Oh,
Did you hear that?
No, I
it's
didn't
been
hear
voted
that.
upon, and it's over.
Really?
And there
That's
you go. See,
interesting.
look, I guess looks like he's surprised.
He's surprised, very surprised.
Wow.
You would think this guy is in the know, right?
He is in the know, but you know.
Well, here's the thing. We're really lucky to have him back. All right, he was here a few weeks ago. He did such a great job. We asked him to come back, and let's get right to it.
Okay,
Would you
so
like
go
to
ahead,
introduce
you're on
him?
a roll, so go do your thing.
Want to welcome
Who
back
might
James
interrupt you?
Zachis from
Just
Lucky
because you're
Leads.
taking
Hey,
my
James, how are you tonight?
Hey guys, doing well. How are you?
Good.
Mr. Lead.
Good.
You are the lead man.
He's
You are the
the
lead man, the lead
man.
person, whatever you're supposed to be.
Lead
All
guy.
right? You're very casual. You're very casual tonight.
James,
looking good.
tell us about Lucky Leads and what Lucky Leads is all about.
Sure thing. Lucky Leads is a marketing company, and we do lead generation.
Do.
I mean, if I had to simplify what we do, I would say we understand who it is that you want to do more business with, who your customer is, right? And where they hang out online. We're in a digital age. Everybody interacts online. I'm sure you have a Facebook profile. Darren, you have a Facebook profile. And I'm sure you interact with different groups on Facebook. Or
See,
people.
but Darren and I can deal with anybody. You know, our service can go to anybody at any time, anywhere in the country or in the world. Do you agree?
I wouldn't say any country in the world, but
Except for
it
one.
translates for what we do. Well, James, I think your business translates also, right? Anywhere in the world that you can do this.
Sure.
But what makes you different than all these other pop-up, and I don't want to say you're a pop-up because you're not, because I've known you a long time. You've been doing this for a while.
How long can you know him? He's 10. Look at
It's just the facial hair.
okay.
I have this thing where I can't grow a beard.
He
You're not missing anything.
So you know you get these guys like Ready Set Studios who pop up and they do this stuff, right?
What are they?
Shade thrown.
What a clever name, Ready Set Studio.
I know.
What does that
Thought of
mean?
that.
Well, no,
I hope
Ready
he's
Set
watching.
Studios. Well, Ready Set Studios does something very different than what you do.
Absolutely.
But they do generate advertising and they do help you generate leads.
Mm-hmm.
But you do it very differently than how Chris does it.
Sure.
You know, from Ready Set Studios, and I kid Chris because I can. But tell us why your approach is different, and let's do it that way, right? Chris's approach is it's video based,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you go to Chris with an idea and say, I want to make a commercial.
Right.
And he kind of helps you formulate the commercial. We shoot it, and then he does his magic behind the scenes to make it come out like that.
Yep.
Okay, if I go to you now and I want your services, how are you different than Ready Set Studios?
Sure. Well, we're certainly different. And I also want to clarify that we're by no means better, right? And he's not better than we. It's all congruent. You know, we work together in tandem on a lot of clients. So,
But I think what Darren's trying to get at, he does things his way and is successful,
Yeah.
and you do things your way and that are successful.
right,
Your approach.
right. So, what
Are
we-
you gonna, like, I come to you, you're not gonna make me a video?
correct?
Okay.
You may think about it and then eventually call Chris, but you're not going to.
And our clients, a video may be required in a campaign that we propose to a client, and if that's the case, then I'll bring Chris into the fold.
Okay. So what exactly do you do? If I'm going to come to you, what are you laying out for me? And I can tell you this: I met with James, Samantha, and I met with James. Was it last week or the week before? And he had this whole proposal laid out on how to generate leads for us. So how is it different than Chris?
I would classify Chris's type of agency as being website and content marketing focused. Although he does add campaigns as well. There is overlap between what we do. I
Did
think
Chris
the
ever make a
real-
proposal to you? Or was it verbal?
Chris, no, Chris is
No, he's never
very-
done
he's-
what you're talking about.
He's never laid it out like James has.
The real distinction between what we do is Lucky Leads does a lot of cold email for B2B lead generation.
Okay, so you and what do you mean by cold email? All right, so you see that because I get my email box every day. I get a couple of hundred, maybe 300 emails. Most of them are all of these solicitations. Is that what you're talking about by a cold email, or?
Let's go through an example with each of you. So
Okay.
in your case, you own an accounting and advisory firm. And you might want to start working with more software companies. So we would build a list of contacts, decision makers, people that can actually make a purchasing decision regarding your services at software companies. We would write up an email or a series of emails that will go out to them in an automated fashion that are designed to get them on the phone with you or whatever other action you want them to take. Norman, in your case, you have Friend Entertainment Group USA. One of the things that you guys do is you create concerts for nonprofit organizations. And let's say you want to work with more of a particular type of nonprofit, like churches. bit.
Well, speaking about
3 seconds, I mean,
well, what you're doing,
everybody here should be hiring you.
that's it. Yeah, I wish everyone took 3 seconds, but they don't.
Are you a client?
I am.
He is a client.
Okay. 3
But-
seconds. You got to watch what you're paying for.
No, but here's the thing, James. What I mean by that, right? So it takes me a lot less time to do it because I know what I'm doing. I have the tools, right? The software that I use and all that stuff.
It's all related.
It's all related. It's all interrelated, and it just makes the whole process. So what you're saying is that it's the tools, right? That you have that allows you to email 1,000 churches as compared to Norm doing one at a time.
And it could be 10,000. It could be 100,000.
So you have the availability and the tools and whatever may be to do that 1,000. I can do 2 or 3. All right, for argument's sake. What do you put in it, in that tool, that you email out that's the attention catcher, the one that's going to want to make the phone call to me or send me an email and say, please give me a call? What is it that you have?
Well, that's the writing. And I mean, we've spent the last 4 years committed to learning how to write cold emails that get responses.
So there's a technique and a talent to putting in the right words.
Yeah, and research. It's about understanding the audience, what motivates them, how to communicate it succinctly, and in a way that inspires them to take action. And that's a lot harder than it sounds. It becomes more than just writing a spontaneous email.
It really is, right? So when we, and I'll use me as an example. Clients come to me, they got problems with the IRS or whatever. I know how to approach the IRS and what words to use. A lot of times we'll write a letter or we'll write,
That's exactly right.
we'll submit a form. I know what to put on those forms in
Right.
order to get the results we're looking for. All right, just as when you're approaching a charity about putting on an event, you know what to say to them.
Exactly.
It's that type of thing, and that's what you're paying for. You're paying for that expertise. Because to be honest with you, we were sitting down, and we can talk about, what you propose, and we were talking about a two-pronged approach for marketing for me, because we're developing an online platform, and then I'm also, our other services. So the email chain would be an initial email that would bring them to the website to get them to sign up for an initial, here's a free offer type of thing. And then from that, and he had it all charted out, he had all these old graphs and all this other stuff. A string of emails would then happen, one 3 days later, one 5 days later, one 7 days later, all trying to trigger them to do the next step. And then when they did the next step, then another series.
What happens when they don't do the next step? How soon does a follow-up get sent? Maybe you missed my email, I'm following up. How soon does that go out? A week or two?
It depends on the type of emails we're sending. And what I mean by that is that there are emails that we send to a cold audience, someone who's never heard of Friend Entertainment USA or CVMS Consulting, right? In that case, we're sending emails, the first one goes out on day 0. The second one usually goes out 3 days after.
3 days.
The third one goes out 5 days after the second email, sorry. So now that's 8 days after the first was sent. And the third one goes out 7 days after that one.
So in 15 days, it's sent out three
3
times.
emails.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, 3 emails.
It gets sent out 3 times.
Well, again, that all depends on the program, right? Because it
Absolutely.
could be 3 emails in 3 days, or it could be 3 emails in 2 months.
Well, so
Depending,
the second type of email sequence that we use, there's actually a lot of different ones, but one of the ones that we're talking about for Darren's campaign is an email sequence designed to help build a relationship with an audience that's already aware of your business. So now they've taken some sort of action in your funnel. They downloaded a free report or bought, a book for $10 or whatever the low-level offer is. Once they've come into your funnel, they've come into your world, now you're going to start to build a relationship with them. And those are daily emails.
Is that too much?
You think it's too much. It's too much when the content is focused on converting them. When you're selling the whole time in the email, it's too much. Do you want to be sold to every single day from someone you just met? I don't. No. I'm going to delete, unsubscribe,
right.
Get you out of my inbox. So what we do is it's 90% content, entertaining content, interesting content, engaging, emotionally invoking content. 10% of it is sales.
What made you get into this business?
Just by happenstance. When I got out of my first business...
Let's tell the audience what that happened to be.
When I got out of my first business, like any person, bills to pay, need to work. Chris of Ready Set Studios was building his agency. He was about 2 years into it at the time. My father was running a med spa. He needed a website. I called Chris.
He was running a what?
A med spa. A spa.
A spa.
Oh,
He was
a
running
spa. A men's spa.
No,
medical
spa.
Oh, medical
He was
spa.
running a medical spa.
I was going to say what kind of services were there.
He went through a rebranding, and he needed a new website. So I knew Chris built websites. He had already done it for my mom at that point. I called Chris. I said, hey, can you build a site for my dad? Now, Chris and I have known each other 17 years. We're best friends. And he's like, yeah, I'll even take care of you guys, give you the friend and family discount, but you're going to write the content for the website. I said, sure. So we partnered up on it, and he was impressed, I guess, by what I did, and he said, hey, you know what? I've got more work I can send to you. So after that, I pretty much started living out of his office. Darren could tell you. He remembers those days. We were there all the time. I was working with them. And then there came a point where kind of everyone involved, we all broke off on our own. And then out of that came Lucky Leads.
But what made you think as a child, though, that this was something that you wanted to do?
I didn't think that as a child. I wanted to be a musician.
Oh, that's how far.
Exactly,
but this is what we want to know. What did you want to do instead of playing baseball, being a musician? What was your first business? What was your second business?
Yeah. Let's go back to school for a second. So I went to NYU Stern School of Business, studied business, but my minor there was social entrepreneurship.
Perfect.
Which is about creating sustainable solutions to solve social issues, whether that's hunger, no clean drinking water, environmental issues, you name it. That's where I was really interested. I was taking classes on nonprofit management, etc. Wanted to work for a nonprofit. My parents were like, I know you really want to save the world, but you should probably make some money and then go save it, and nonprofits are not going to pay you as much. While that's true for the most part, anyway, I listened to it. I listened to the advice. I didn't do that.
Oh, it's true.
And I was like, and you would know.
I would know.
Yes,
and I was like, all right, so I listened to the advice, but then I was like, I don't know what I want to do, right? So I took the summer to think about it, ended up meeting my first business partner, being with Chris.
Just like that? You were on the railroad?
Just like that. So we struck up a conversation regarding a book I was reading from the Dalai Lama, and we found out that we shared a vision for creating a wellness center that included meditation, personal development classes, and other, self-mastery techniques. So we created that. Very grassroots effort, community building, kind of long, slow road. Business still exists today, even though I'm not involved. She's doing well with it. So that was based on my personal passion of wanting to help the world and understanding, or at least believing, that kind of the suffering, the issues we see in the world are external manifestations of internal states. And so if we can elevate ourselves internally, emotionally, mentally, then we're not going to create as much suffering and as many issues in the world that we see outside of us. And so that's kind of where that first business came from. And then I ended up working with Chris, and here we are.
Mm-hmm.
So how long have you, you've known Chris a long time, right?
Yeah.
So, it was unique when I first came into your world, right?
Sure.
I'll describe it like that.
Sure. A lot
because
of ways you can describe it, but that's a good one.
because it was a group of friends that known each other forever, working together, and you could see immediately how the dynamic you just knew, or I could tell right away. It wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
With the way the dynamic was set up.
We didn't know enough.
Right. Well, I think that's part of it. I don't think you guys realized where you wanted to be individually. You were kind of just like, okay, let's start a company and go.
I remember that was one of the first things you did.
You
gave us homework. You said, "Tell me about your personal goals."
Right.
Because in your mind, you're like, are all these people headed in the same direction together?
Yep.
Or not?
Yeah, and it became very evident that wasn't the case. But that's what
I can't join in that conversation because I don't know anybody in that group except for Chris.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, it was, and they had an office. Everybody had jobs. Everybody they were generating good revenue.
So this was a side business for everybody?
No, this was
it.
That was their job.
And it wasn't working?
It was working. We just
the chemistry was not there?
We didn't have clear group goals.
Right.
So it was very tough to stay aligned, especially when you face business challenges and growing pains early on. It's stressful. So.
And it wasn't until it was your idea or Chris's idea that, hey, we need somebody to come in from the outside and kind of look at what's going on and help us.
Well, I think
develop.
you and I ended up speaking at Latip.
Right.
We met at a diner. We were talking about Michael Gerber's book, right?
Yep. E-Myth. Yep.
E-Myth, exactly. Yep. And I was
we
like, Chris, I know you know Darren, but we got to know more. This guy gets it.
And there goes one-on-one.
And Eric went one-on-one. Right.
Yep.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. And they're all still very good friends.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Closer now than ever.
Right. And what now they have their own separate companies, but they're still working together.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, do you still participate in, what kind of services do they have?
Adam has an agency, Cleverman Inc., and
an advertising agency.
They're doing very well. Advertising agency, full service. Anything you need. You need content creation. You need Google, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
So he could use your help, and he can use Chris's help.
Yeah. So when Adam needs a cold email campaign done, he comes to me.
There you go.
If I need a Google campaign done, he's my guy. If I need video, web development, Chris is my guy.
And the reason why I bring that up is because it's so important to have a team, right? That you can rely on to get things done.
Yep.
And that's what he has. He's not a one-man show that, okay, is this guy going to be a fly-by-night, next week? No, he has a team of people that they've been working together for years, and he has all the resources. It's just not one-dimensional. When James sits down with you, and I can say this honestly, is when James sits down with me and we talk about the different things that we want to do, right? What it comes down to is very much this. I know that if he sees that, hey, you know what? This is where we're going to go, but we need you to do this. And he then goes, okay, we're going to bring Adam in to do this, or we're going to bring Chris in to do this, that type of stuff. Immediately he can see the whole landscape. He's not one-dimensional. He doesn't have the horse blinders on where I have to take all the thing for me.
Well,
I don't want to do all of it. That's why we have experts in each area.
That's why you hire him.
Right.
Because you don't have to do. It's the same thing with myself. And when I say what I have to do is, when I talk to a charity about a show, I'm explaining to them that it's like starting a new business. It's not using an accounting service. It's not you being a lawyer. You actually have to be in there like you're starting up a new business. You got to have people in the right positions in order to do certain things. You don't need many people, 2 or 3.
New line of revenue, new project.
That's it. But it's like starting up from scratch, which is in essence what you're doing in this particular area.
Right.
With James. With James. You've hired him to take you to a new level of where you want to go
Right.
and where you want to be.
I've only got
You
so far.
conquered the other.
Right. I've only gotten so far. I need to get to that next level, so I'm bringing the experts in to do
Correct.
that. So, and, that's something that we preach on this show all the time, is that don't do it alone. Don't try to do everything alone. Figure out a way to get it done. So, James, if somebody wants to get a hold of you and actually hire you,
Sure. You can go to www.luckyleads, that's LEADS.io. You can
.io, no .com, no nothing else. .io.
That's right. You can call us at 833-43-LUCKY, or you can go to the website, right? You can call us, or you can email me.
That's the website that Chris made.
I actually made that
Oh,
site.
you made that site. Oh, so you learned from Chris. Now you can do websites. There, you see that?
so there you go.
Are you listening, Chris?
He can do a little bit of everything. So,
Or you can email me, james@luckyleads.io.
all right. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about working with Lucky Leads, and you know what, we're going to make
some stories.
And we'll make
Maybe we could
we'll
talk
make
some
fun
stories.
of Chris. So we'll be back.
We'll see if Chris has the gumption to call in.
Yeah, right after these messages.
Coming on the Business Power Hour gives you something that you don't normally get with your typical advertising on the internet.
Or in the newspaper.
Right?
None of that stuff.
You get thousands of viewers who see the show every week, not only locally, but nationally and internationally.
For a very nominal fee. Actually, we did it and we broke it down. It will actually cost you 0.75 cents per view that you get. That's it. All right, so if you're interested in being a guest on the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man, please give me a call at 631-698-9696 or email me at norman@friendentusa.com or call Darren at...
You can call me at 844-987-CBMS. That was 844-987-CBMS. Or email me at Darren@bphdmm.com.
I think I'm going to get in touch with you also.
Yeah?
I am, to make sure that you get here on time.
Oh, okay.
Next time.
Yeah.
All right?
It's the first time ever I've been late.
Pachera aquata, also known as the money tree, is a tree that flourishes in the tropical rainforest. Unlike other trees, it depends on 5 separate trunks to prosper, each one bringing its own share of water and nutrients to the leaves. Like the money tree, your business has many different trunks that need your attention. Sales, marketing, finance, operations, and culture. Fail to cultivate any one of these and the whole tree collapses. I understand this better than anyone else, which is why I developed My Prosperity Tree, a program designed to address all of these areas, not just one or two. We help you identify who you are as a company, define your direction, and assist with developing the systems that will enable you to scale your business the most efficient and effective way, allowing your company to bloom into your own prosperity tree. So plant your tree today by visiting myprosperitytree.com or call us at 844-987-CBMS. That's 844-987-2267.
Hello, good morning. Can I help you? Oh, hi, Governor. How are you? So nice to hear from you. How's everything with your family? Everybody good? Nobody has COVID? Omicron? Everything's great? Yes, what do you want to tell me? That the percentages have gone down that much? And you want me to tell everybody that's a Friend Entertainment USA fan about the shows? And that the shows will be going on? Well, that would be my pleasure. I would love to do that. And congratulations on your election, and good luck with everything that you do. Thank you, Governor. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Oh, boy, that's great. I'm going to get rid of this thing. Oh, hi. Hey, everybody. Hi, it's Norman from Friend Entertainment USA. You heard the Governor and I having a brief conversation. She informed me that today, as a matter of fact, there was an announcement about all the Omicron and COVID-19 rates dropping dramatically. That being said, we're going to start with our shows being the first one, March 20th, Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock, A Cappella Volume 2, starring the traditional
petitions, the accords, and the tribunes. From that, we're going to go to May, on May 7th, for the one and only John Denver Tribute Show starring Ted Vigil. If you're interested in tickets or have some information, please give me a call at 631-698-9696 or email me, norman@friendentusa.com. I look forward to seeing you, and you don't need a mask to watch the show.
And welcome back to the Business Power Hour. I want to know, are you
You know,
here?
you said to him, he yawned during the break,
He did.
and you said, are we putting you to sleep? Meanwhile, you fell
Are
asleep.
you, so? You get up as early as I get up, you fall asleep too.
This is true.
That is,
Well, that's
true.
the puppy, right? How's the puppy?
Puppy is growing up.
It's
She's growing up. She's beautiful. She really is. She's really a sweetheart. She's very needy. I have a very needy dog. Needs to be cuddled and hugged and whatever.
That's
And
cute.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. How does somebody get into your business? Not get into your business, but work with you and be cuddled and loved by the person doing the
What?
work?
cuddled and loved.
How does your work? How does your work?
Cuddling is my top tier package.
Okay.
Actually, that's
I do. You just
It's a marketing
Just
thing,
send me
right?
a check.
It's being able to do that. It's
it's a long funnel to get to the point where we're cuddling.
Thank God.
Yeah.
So, before the break, we were talking about, your vast network of resources.
How do people call in, by the way? What's the phone number?
If people want to reach us tonight, I don't know why we're having such technical difficulties now, and I don't know why this isn't showing. It should be. It's there. Aha! Call in now, 631-619-7500. Got a couple of
What's
things.
that number?
631-619-7500.
Great.
Call in now, and
And ask James questions.
Ask James questions. I know Chris is out there, and he's worried about you stealing his business. That's his comments out there.
You better worry about getting my stuff out.
Well, oh man, we got a call. I wonder who this could be.
It's 509. That's him.
Welcome to the Business Power Hour. This is Darren
who's calling,
Zinn.
please?
Who's calling?
Hi, this is Christopher Gannum. I'm interested in the cuddling package.
Wait, did you just say interrupted in the cuddling?
No, he's
It's double for
interested
him.
in the cuddle package. You want to
The
talk
top
about
tier
somebody
package, I
needy?
hear.
I tell you what, Chris Gannum has been on the show, as we all know. And Chris, thanks for calling in tonight. He's the owner of Ready Set Studios, one of James's resources, and actually, partner companies that he works with. But sometimes he's a Mac guy, and when you create videos on Mac, they don't come in an MP4 format. So when they're forwarded, right, then
You mean like tonight?
then I can't play them on this platform.
Wouldn't you think
So
a
that's
place
why I'm
like
watching.
Ready Set Studios would be aware of
They
doing
would,
that?
because every time he sends it, I ask him to send it in a different format.
Oh, okay.
So
Got it.
You know.
So that's why we
So I
weren't able
called-
to show
so
that
essentially I
that
called-
flyer
I
tonight.
called essentially to get in trouble. That's why I called. I don't know.
You walked right into that one.
You worked, yeah. You did. You walked right into that, man. So, all right, Chris. Let me ask you. Let's ask this, because you and James have a partnership that you use together, right? Where you use
Absolutely.
him for your clients and things like that. Tell me why you use James.
I use James. James is one of the most thorough people I've ever worked with, and every time I send the client his way or we team up on a project, I know that client's going to be taken care of. And James is relentless in achieving that goal, whatever the goal is the client has. And he has such a unique approach to writing copy, and he really gets into the mind of the customer. And it's just amazing to watch, because everybody that we work with has a different skill they bring to the table. But as a team, we really, really, most of the time, we're able to achieve that goal. And I'm happy that I have James as a resource, and honestly, any business would be lucky to work with him because he doesn't stop. You know, he's your guy.
Talking about thoroughness, have you ever picked up any thorough support that can pass on to your business?
What are you talking about?
Like, getting things done properly and no
Well,
mistakes.
you know what? Here's the thing, and this is the other thing. We can't really. Chris, I didn't have this last video yet, and he did send it at 7:12. After the show started, in the wrong format. But we can't blame Chris for that.
Who should we?
Yeah, well,
let's blame James.
I did get the request at 7:02.
So that's it. But here we got a question. Eileen, hi Eileen. Eileen Karina, who is a great person and a great friend to the show. She's asking, are there any guarantees on your work?
That's a great question, Eileen. We've explored a guarantee model before, okay, and we have worked with it. It can be challenging because while we may guarantee certain results, you may be happy with even less. And I want to make sure I frame this right. It's guaranteeing results is challenging because every industry is different. No two campaigns that we do are exactly the same. Guarantees really work with marketing companies that work in the same niche over and over and over again. And while there are niches that we've worked in a few times, a lot of our clients come to us with different services.
But how do you guarantee? So how do you guarantee that someone will even open an email?
I mean, you can't. Any marketer that's offering a guarantee
Exactly.
knows the niche well enough, and there hasn't been enough disruption in the way things have been done in that niche where they can expect the same results over and over again.
So, James, give out Eileen's looking for your website.
Okay.
All right. So why don't you give out your information again, because we got a hot lead right here for you.
All right.
So go ahead, James.
And we generated the lead.
That's right. That's a tip for Darren. It's www.luckyleads, that's LEADS.io.
And you should be interested because Eileen is doing a couple of fundraising situations. She's having a comedy night. Right, Eileen? You should be a good idea for $20 to come to the show and laugh all night and have some drink. Come with Chris.
I'll pay $20 to laugh all night.
Say that.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, we usually Eileen, usually lets us get on stage for a couple of minutes and do a couple of things. So it could
A
be
shtick.
interesting.
That sounds like
We
it
do
would
our
be funny.
shtick.
That's worth the $20 just for that.
So Chris, let me ask you, tell me the type of client that you would typically refer James over to.
So, we have so many different types of clients that could utilize the service, but specifically if a client comes to me and they have a very niche audience they need to get in touch with. Let's say they need to get in touch with the CISO at a bank or all the banks in, say, New York City, and they need to be in touch with a specific position. It's very challenging to do that with ads. So I'll bring in James, who's able to, generate a list of those individuals. So it's just so niche, and that's what I would bring James in for. Very good for B2B marketing.
So it's really B2B, and actually, most businesses today, that's what we're talking about,
That's
right?
exactly right.
Is how to generate lead for business. One of the things that we're all struggling with on a day-to-day basis. It's even getting into video content and, the time it takes to get it done. Sure. Sometimes it takes longer than you want.
Sure.
Especially like when you record something like a month ago and,
It sounds like that sounds like an inside situation. Okay.
No, this is a very difficult one. This isn't your typical thing that we're doing. Chris is doing some animation with it.
Chris has been busy stuck in the Poconos with James.
Yeah, right, exactly.
He's
been snowboarding. So
yes, I know. I'm aware.
Yeah. So
the great thing about the content that you'll create is it'll exist forever, and it can only ever serve to keep generating you leads. And the beautiful thing is, you create it once, and it's there. It's not like you have to keep putting money into it. If you want to push it out further, then it's organic reach, you can. But you don't have to. And,
all right, I'm going to give another shout out. Darren Zinn is watching tonight. Hey, Darren, how are you? Darren's as you know, one of my clients, been a long time client.
Hi, Darren.
And he's watching tonight. You know what? Well, here's the thing. Like Darren's business, the majority of the leads that he gets are things like HomeAdvisor and stuff like that. He does a lot of residential work.
Okay.
He's an electrical contracting company, DZ Electric, here on Long Island. So if you guys want to, this is a shout out.
DZ is a DZ Electric.
It's
How do you spell DZ?
You're out of your mind.
The funny thing about HomeAdvisor is it's actually a marketing company.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and that's the thing, right? So they have an interesting model because you'll go on HomeAdvisor. I'll give you a quick. You go on HomeAdvisor and you say, "I need an electrician," and you may need one light fixture change, but you're going to tell them, "Oh, I need to rewire my house." So they actually charge you based on what the client is looking for, not necessarily what it turns out to be.
Oh,
And I think we lost Chris finally, so he got the hint. He got the hint.
Well,
But
that's an interesting perspective on HomeAdvisor as well. One that I've not considered before. But yeah, I mean they have two audiences, right? They've got the people looking for different construction work, and then they've got the people that will actually do the construction work. They
Right.
market to you, the person looking. You come into their funnel. You come into their site, which is a piece of tech, and then they sell you to the other people.
Right, but what they'll do is they'll sell you to 3 or 4 different electricians,
right.
and they all pay the same
right.
amount of money, whether they get the job or not.
I do believe you can pay more though to get exclusive leads.
Yes,
it's a significant amount more.
Yeah, and it can get very expensive.
Absolutely.
In knowing what you do, in my world, we did a program, and you say, who should we send this to? There are 3 or 4 people that should get a letter like this. There's the CEO of the charity, there's the president, there's the director of development, which is the same thing as the director of fundraising, and probably an administrative type of person. So we can discount the administrative type of person right off the bat, because what she's going to do or he's going to do is to forward that information to the other 2 people.
Depends on the size of the organization though. There are some charities or some businesses where you have to go through what we call the gatekeeper.
Oh yeah, well everybody has the gatekeeper.
Right.
And
we actually have specific email templates that are meant to really endear a gatekeeper to us, so that they feel like.
So outside of a major cancer care, okay, or cerebral palsy, who would you send? You're not going to send it to the CEO or the president of cerebral palsy. Much too big an organization. It's going to get lost somewhere all the way, and they have other people that are in that position in different divisions in different cities around the states, all the states. Where would you go?
Well, what I would say is we definitely will send it to the CEO. It's unlikely that that's the person that will respond.
Right.
But they may respond, and if so, I mean, great.
As in, send it to the correct person in the organization that says either call them, find out what it's all about, or forget it.
Yeah. So we'll go to the CEO, but we'll also go to any administrative or executive assistants as well.
So basically, when you're sitting down and planning, right, are you looking at the industry to try to figure out exactly who the decision makers are?
Yeah.
Because I mean, the larger the company too, you're not going to get to the CEO is not going to talk to, him about doing a fundraiser, right?
Sure.
When you got this multi-million-dollar, the head of cerebral palsy isn't going to talk to him.
Right.
He's going to have to talk to somebody local, right? And yeah, Darren or Eileen, you're right. The CEO doesn't open their own mail. That's the CEO. DZ Electric just drops it off. But anyway, but yeah, you're right. He doesn't open his own mail. So in his case, it's really you got to try to pinpoint or find that decision maker who's like the head of fundraising, who would make that decision that this is the type of fundraising we're going to do.
Sure.
Correct?
Yeah.
So and how much time do you does it typically take to develop a program for a company?
I guess of which program you take.
Let's just say a basic, we're going to do an email campaign.
Standard campaign takes a month to set up. Now, that doesn't mean we're working 40 hours a week, multiple team members for a month straight. It just, there are certain technical things that we have to do before we can launch a campaign that require a month no matter what. So from the time that we start talking and we sign a contract to work together to the time that your first emails start going out, that's a month timeline. And no matter how small or large the campaign is, we can, in a month's time, it'll be running.
And we have a similar way that we do business too. Is we get a project, and it may only take us 5 hours to do the project, but it might be 2 weeks because. And I know your process, because your process is we sit down, we meet, you get an understanding of what we're trying to do, you go back and formulate, then we meet again, we refine it.
Is that part of the month?
That's part of the month.
No, this is pre-proposal.
Well, no, but once we accept the proposal, then we get into refining.
Yeah, then we get into the real details.
Real details of the writing of the emails. Now, we don't just take what James wrote. Now it's got to make sense to us, and
sure.
And he doesn't always necessarily understand the industry, so he's refining what's said and how it's said. But he's an excellent writer. I can say that much. I can give you that much without a doubt. So it's a. I don't want to say it's a different approach. It's a more. I don't want to say old school either. It's a more systematic way of generating leads, right? Where
Hold it. You're saying his program is a more systematic way of generating leads?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, his program is a more systematic way of generating leads. Whereas Chris, who does a great job with the video, we create a video, we slap it up, we put it out, and it's a different.
But it also matters where that slapping out that video goes to.
Right.
Is it going to Facebook? Is it going to Twitch? Is it
And why?
And why?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and it comes down. It's the same thing with your program too.
That's right. And there are certain fundamentals that apply no matter what marketing you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you always have to know who the audience is. You always need to understand their pain points and the things that they want for themselves. What we call their aspirational identity, who they want to become.
Right.
And you have to understand how to message it and what channels you're going to use, when you're going to reach out to them through those channels.
If somebody out there had the contacts, how simplistic?
Email contacts.
Okay. How simplistic is it for you to do the program that you're talking
Still
about?
takes a month.
Still takes a month.
Still takes a month. The only thing that it will save costs, because now we don't have to go out and do research on building your list.
Oh, of course.
For you. What I will say is lots of people have email lists, but those email lists don't necessarily have good emails on them. Email lists need to be cleaned regularly because people's email addresses change over time. So we kind of purge them. We get rid of the bad ones. So your list may not end up as large as you think it is, in which case we may need to end up building the list back up.
And the reason why it still takes a month, you still got to write the emails, you still got to come up with the campaign, you still got to do all of that stuff.
You're right. The specific thing that takes a month to do is from the time that we buy new domains, because we never want to jeopardize your main domain. Like in your case, your domain is cbms.co.
Right.
We would never use a Darren@cbms.co email address on an email campaign, cold email campaign, because if enough people report you as spam, from us sending emails out through that email address, your website could go down.
Right.
And
Get
getting it back
blacklisted.
is hard.
Yeah.
And takes time and costs money. So we never do that. We buy domains similar: cbms.io, cbms.com, cbms.net, org, etc. And then we create email addresses through each of those. Now, going back to what takes time, once we buy those, what we call dummy domains, and set up those secondary email addresses, we have to prove to email service providers like Gmail, Yahoo, Microsoft, etc., that we're reputable senders. And that takes time, takes a month minimum.
So we got a possible another lead for you here, right? So what typically, who's your typical client? What industries do you typically service?
Sure. I'll answer it this way, because I would say we don't have a typical client. Each campaign is different.
I mean, a typical industry.
Exactly. We don't have a typical industry. Could you repeat your question, though?
Okay. So
who is? They wanted to know
what industries,
Sure.
Right. Can you do this for?
Yeah. So cold email is really for business to business companies. And I'll explain what that means. Norman Friend Entertainment Group USA is a business, and you help other businesses, in particular
Correct.
nonprofits.
Right.
Darren, CBMS.co, accounting and advisory firm, Profit First, My Prosperity Tree. These are all helping businesses. So you're business to business. Because
Right.
some people don't understand the distinction. Business to consumer would be if we sell water bottles on an e-commerce store.
Right.
Now we're advertising to, anyone who might want a water bottle.
Now, do your programs do that?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
And
yes.
Okay.
We do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not to pigeonhole ourselves into B2B, but the thing we do most is B2B cold email.
And the most success you've had is with B2B.
Yeah.
And
Would I be a B2B and B2C?
Yes, you have two
Right.
facets, because you're also selling tickets
Correct.
to those concerts.
So, all right. So let's bring it back a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, if I have a contractor, say, and his business is to market to residential customers, that's not something that typically you would do.
No, I mean,
Right?
think about yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'd be a residential customer. Maybe you want to build a new home or renovate your home.
Right.
You see yourself getting an email about that and responding to it?
Typically not, right?
Right,
So I need an
But they
electrician.
are out there. I mean,
They're out there.
I receive them, from contractors or window people or roofing or solar.
But if I have a contractor that works with either other contractors or commercial properties, right, like RXR and things like that,
Yes.
that would be something that you would do.
That's right. And the reason why we focus on B2B when we're talking cold email is because it's convention. People are used to that in the business world. They're used to getting cold emails. I mean, we've had people respond to our cold emails before and be like, I normally ignore cold emails because they get a lot of them, but this one was so funny, I'm forwarding it to my manager, or something like that.
Is it of interest to you to receive what your competition or people in your industry are doing?
Of course, always
That I'm
be
going
learning.
because I get
don't know it
anywhere
all.
between 10 to 20 direct competition. I'm going to send them to you, so you can see what's
do.
going on.
Yeah.
All right, so James, we're coming up against it, my friend. It's actually
What
50.
time is it?
We're 55
Oh,
minutes
shit.
in. Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, we time is
That
flying.
second half flew.
Well, you know what? Chris made the whole show.
Thank God.
Chris got in trouble.
Chris
and-
got in trouble.
We should have someone to call each week that gets in trouble.
That gets in trouble.
And-
We used
and
to have that.
That's very
Yeah.
good for the show.
We used to have that, but
Control your business before you get in trouble. I can
That's
already see
there
it.
you go. I have to change it, right? So let me ask you this one more time.
Sure.
How can people get a hold of you?
Sure. You can call 833-43-LUCKY. You can email me, james@luckyleads.io, or you can visit my website and fill in our contact form or schedule a meeting through the website. The website is www.luckyleads.io.
That's what Eileen just did. She went over there and she checked out your website.
Great.
There you go. So I'll put that tip in.
There you go.
Do I get part of it? Oh, I
It
don't
doesn't-
belong
we don't
to
get any money
Oh,
out of it. We don't
really?
get any money out of it. We just
Remember,
gotta
I
put
used to
tips in.
belong.
There you go. So anyway, so James, thanks for being on the show, man. We
Thank
really
you guys for
appreciate
having
you
me,
being here. You were a great guest.
Thank you.
Do you have any special events or anything coming up? We know that you're planning on some stuff in the near future. Is anything settled yet?
Nothing right now, but I'll certainly keep you guys abreast of any updates.
Okay, be happy
right.
to help.
Excellent.
Good.
All right, James. We look forward to having you back on. I know you got some interesting stuff going on in your
some
life.
stuff in the works.
That
We'll definitely
bring you
more to talk about.
Yeah, we'll definitely have more to talk about. So, thanks for being on. We really appreciate it. And we will
good
see
job.
you. Good job
Thank you.
tonight.
Thank you guys.
Good job.
All right, what a great show! I tell you
I
what,
had fun.
it was.
You're not talking anymore.
You're not talking anymore.
You're
We're-
off the
we're
show.
still
You
on
just
the air.
you just stay where you are. So we're still live.
So now we know James doesn't watch the show because he doesn't know how we rap. So,
So this is part of what your business could be. You could have a podcast for your business,
so
but you got to know when to. Okay.
I love James. He's a great guy. So hey, you know what? Beautiful weather today.
Good. I didn't see most of it today,
I
but
tell
from
you
2 o'clock on, I did.
I walked
enjoy
outside
it.
at lunchtime just to throw the garbage out, and the weather was great.
Of course,
but-
it's supposed to rain for the weekend,
Of course,
and we have a show coming up this Saturday.
this Saturday, right?
This Saturday, it's our a cappella volume 2. The first one was extremely successful. This one is doing very, very well, and going to be Sunday afternoon at the Belmore Theater with 3 major a cappella groups. And if you're into that kind of music, give me a call at 631-698-9696. But be aware, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not an evening show.
Oh, really?
So if you don't like to drive at night, or you have family members that you like to get tickets for, and they don't like to drive at night, this is a good place to go.
There you go.
Good place to go.
All right. Well, good luck this weekend with that
Thank
show.
you.
And everybody, stay safe out there. Thanks, Eileen, Darren, Chris, for your input tonight. It was great seeing you guys again on the show. And everybody else that watches us, we want to thank you for continuing to support our show. We will
Appreciate
see
it.
you next week.
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, right here on the Business Power Hour. Good night, everybody.
Stay safe, stay healthy. Goodbye, everyone.